Hello and welcome to Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish, Season 2, Episode 6. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. Let us meet our heroes. We will switch it up here, going from the opposite direction as we usually do with the beautiful Alcuin.
Hey, I'm Alcuin Gersh. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter as Different Elves. That's different_elves. And I'm playing Rayonde, the Dragonborn monk.
D'Artagnan.
Hello, I'm D'Artagnan Mattaliano, and I am playing Xander, the intoxicated Duke.
Probably 30% less pukey this time. Like,
We hope.
Maybe 35.
I heard Pillowfort's cure all, so you know.
Sam.
I'm Leve, celestial rogue, here to steal your heart and all your money, playing Asmar Aiden.
I appreciate that you are the celestial rogue, playing the role of an Asmar rogue.
Said what I said.
Why play against type? And last but certainly not least, Aki.
Hi, everybody. I'm Aki, and I play Karrin and Kerrin, your elven clerics.
Now, when last we met, I realized the year is in full swing now, but spoiler alert, although you all saw us last week, this is our first taped episode of the new year, so Happy New Year. There you go. When last we met, we were recounting what it is that had happened to our intrepid heroes. You had returned from Avernus with your prize, the Red Wizard Helene, intact. It became clear to you quite quickly that she also was feeling the same unusual connection with the group of you that you all felt with each other, but she also was very different than the bright, cheerful girl you all seem to recall. She was dark and intense and aggressive, but there still was something of the person you knew deep inside. Helene was pulled aside by Lady Eliza and approached with a certain offer, which we will deal with in depth next week, because as you can see, melee damage is not with us tonight. But while she was gone, you all were occupying yourselves with food and drink and rousing the Queen's guards to come rushing into the place. There was perhaps a little bit of vomit, not a lot of prestidigitation. In the midst of the false alarm, you saw your old friend Molt, the cell sword or cell crossbow, cell bow. I don't, right there's cell bow. Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
what's the non-gendered equivalent of the word non-weaponed? Like, you could be a cell sword when you're not actually selling swords, like that's the mercenary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mercenary Molt, who was ever her
Bird at arms.
Person at arms, exactly. Bird at arms in this case, I suppose, is somewhere on the premises, which you saw as the guards were raised. She was there with her crossbow. In this time, none of you had made her acquaintance previously, but Aiden, you were aware of her as a particularly effective, particularly lethal bird at arms. After Helene had made her way back, after seeing Lady Eliza and the young Prince Aurin turning in for the day, as you all had been up the entire night, and as the sun was approaching, you all were starting to lay your own heads down, and old, shall we say, chemistry was reignited, as Rayonde and Helene found a quiet corner to fan a certain flame that was forming. Aiden, Xander, Karrin, and Kerrin made their way into a very effectively designed pillow fort, the work of a man who is aware of defense and keep building, and another man who is aware of the value of sheets and pillows and hidey holes. And you all laid down for the first truly pleasant night in recent memory. At least that's how the night started. Roll that trailer. As you all are finding your way to sleep, alternatively entangled with once in future objects of your affection, the daylight outside does not creep in. The place is pitch black, completely sealed inside once you put out the candles. And as you all are laying there, a mixture of contented sighs and heads laid on chests, fingers entwined, sheets tussled about, and truly relaxing. Aiden, you hear a wind blowing.
I slide out from under an arm, move the other person's leg and put that back down, and slide out. And I'm going to exit the fort to attempt to investigate.
As you're sliding away, you feel a couple of hands sort of instinctively just tighten slightly on the leg of your pants, but gently slide down as you're extricating yourself. And as you sort of pull the sheet back from the pillow fort and step outside, you find yourself on a windswept plain. The ground is gray and cracked, like a salt flat off into the distance. The sun hangs low in the sky, indeterminate if it is dawn or dusk. It is just low along the horizon, which, although you can't see outside, you being a man of the waves just sort of have an instinctive sense of the time. And you're like, the sun should be higher in the sky than that, though.
Where? What? If I turn around, is the pillow fort still here?
It is, but now it looks like it's far off in the distance. Like it was just right there. Now it's way over there, but it's there.
Do I see anything else on this horizon?
Give me a perception check.
I will. It will be acceptable. 23.
As you're sort of looking around, there is an odd familiarity that this place that you can't quite put your finger on. But there is a structure that is off in the distance, and you can just slightly catch a whiff of a pleasant scent coming off of it. And it takes you a second to realize it is it's the little house that you grew up in with that pleasant old couple that raised you. And that scent on the wind is the bread that the matronly old woman, whose name you very rarely like to speak even to yourself, because that was another life and quite frankly another person, but you remember that scent. And it is sitting in the exact opposite direction of the pillow fort.
They're sleeping. They're sitting tight. I'm just gonna go scout. Just quick, and then I'll double back.
As you inch your way across to this, you know that you're moving because you feel the crunch of the ground underneath your feet. And it seems for a moment like you're getting no closer to the house, and then suddenly it is very close to you. And you hear a voice echoing, "Aiden! Aiden! Come in from the woods, boy! The porridge will be cold!" Hey, who knows what that boy's gotten into tonight? Probably gone after another wild boar. It took me 17 stitches, and he seems to have learned nothing. Aiden!
Oh, by Pavlovian instinct, my feet are moving me in to sit down right now. I feel fear.
As you hustle up and you sort of like open the door, realizing that you're late for dinner, that must have been many years ago. As you open it up, it is exactly as you remember. It was lovingly claustrophobic. In many ways, from the earliest days, you were prepared for life on a ship, of having to confine your existence to 6x6, essentially. Pots and pans dangle overhead with herbs and little plants planted right along the edge of the roof, all the way to the top. A small hole let the rain in that could be collected in a jug in the corner. There was even like a little hole dug into the ground where you all could bury preserves deep in the cold earth on occasion. And you see the bubbling cauldron of stew there, and sure enough, a loaf of bread sitting on the windowsill calling you forward. But you do not see the old woman.
Hello?
Hey, kid. Why don't you come in and have a seat?
I go to where my plate was and grab it and lay place setting by programming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Scoop a little stew, carve off a little bread. Probably a long time since you had a home-cooked meal. And who knows if you ever will again, Captain.
You know, I like the fine food just well enough. Was this you? This is low.
As you are scooping the stew in, you scoop it up and you see a big chunk of radish, and you hate radish. But she insisted. She said, it's not a stew without a radish, Aiden. It's not a proper stew.
Never grew up tall. I'm tall enough.
You feel the presence sort of all around you saying, no, it's not me. This is you. I guess you don't realize how often you come to this place when you make your way here.
Sometimes you have to remember what drives you. Where you're going, what you're moving beyond.
You hear the floorboards creak near your bed. You swear the old man put an extra creaky board just to know when you were coming and going, Aiden. But this was one of the first times you test yourself. If you could get past that board, there was no place you couldn't get into.
I learned honestly, dishonestly.
And out of that little corner of the room, you see a familiar dark shape start to form over there of Harut. Mind if I join you for a bowl?
Please. I would be remiss as a host.
This is nice, you know. It's, I could tell you whether or not it was still standing on Norland, but I guess what really matters is that it's still standing here, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah.
He pushes the hood back, and he looks slightly different than the last time you saw him. His skin is a golden bronze, but the lines in his head that look more like burns before almost have a slight golden sparkle. Difficult to say that he, you know, his previous more shadowy aesthetic was bad, but he does look healthier somehow.
You been eating right?
Walking the path of good Darkness and justice, I suppose, has been looking good on both of us. And he sits down. He's like, so, how you sleeping these nights, Captain?
Well, you know, it's vivid. Stew. Radish.
Yeah, that's how you remembered it. I don't like them. You know, it's the radish isn't so bad as the aftertaste. Like it lingers on the palate.
Right? It comes in with its lies and then it backstabs you. Admittedly, something to learn from.
Yeah. Hey, kid, I got some good news and I got some bad news.
Bad news first.
It's not gonna last.
What isn't?
None of it. This, that, and he looks out in the window in the direction of the pillow fort. Not how it's meant to be.
Them? Him? Any of it?
Well, he reaches out and he puts Helene's necklace on the table. There's something woven through all of you. The 6 of you have a connection, but it's not meant to be like this. Something's broken. Everything is broken. And it has to be set back right again, one way or another.
What? Look, what would we have to do to keep it this way?
Well, that was the bad news. You want to hear the good news?
Sure.
The Celestials. The ones that sent this to you. And he taps the necklace. They're pleased with you, kid. You're doing good.
Have they been paying attention or have you been laying false reports?
Hey. There's some things even I can't jimmy up, okay? Look at this. I'm you, man. Look at those cheekbones. Look at that borderline tan pallor. You're practically blushing.
Shut up.
Mm.
So what does that mean? Are they gonna, intercede or something?
No,
Are they gonna...
This is the intercession right now. You're about to have a choice. And there are no good ones, but there are some less bad ones.
Of course.
One way or another, this dream is nearing its final act. And you are all going to have to wake up to what you wake up to is in your hands. You, all of you, not just you. You, boy, were the match that lit the keg. Whatever that is that connects all of you is the fuse. What happens when it reaches the powder? I don't know.
You should ask that red wizard. I think she's thrown a couple of...
She's got her own bit of complication to deal with here. I don't always tell you everything, Aiden, but one thing I never do is lie to you. I don't know where this is headed. I can only promise that I'll be with you till the end.
I guess that's more than I can say for anyone else.
This This is good bread, though. I understand why you think of it so often.
Yeah, guess there was some good here.
I think we have time for one question. Make it a good one.
Take a big bite of bread to buy time while I chew. How do we uncomplicate her?
My boy, I think you personally are uniquely qualified to advise her on such things, as is the Dragonborn. But if I could give you one piece of advice.
Yeah.
When you wake up, look before you stab. And Aiden, you hear Rayonde panicking. Rayonde, Helene's gone. She was right there. She's right there. You dozed off a little. You're a pretty light sleeper. It's tough to slip away from you unnoticed. She is gone.
Is anyone else awake? Do I see the rest of the people there?
The room is sealed. The pillow fort seems intact. There is a... give me a perception check.
21.
There is a very faint smell of sulfur in the air. Although there kind of was a little bit all around her, the dust. Lady Eliza prestidigitated quite a bit of it off of her, but that's a lot of hair to get a lot of sulfur into. You're also aware of the fact that you are not alone in this room. Beyond your associates, someone else is in here.
Well, I suppose she comes and goes as she pleases. Seems quite capable. I don't think I'm really worried about her. I do not like having uninvited guests, however. So I think I'm going to conceal myself. I'll use some key points to make myself invisible. One of my Way of Shadow monk features.
You sort of wink out. And a moment later, you just hear a whisper. Oh, yes, that is a very useful skill set, isn't it? You are quite effective at your chosen profession, Rayonde. I just wanted to check and make sure you weren't losing sight of the greater mission.
I think I want to project my voice to have it seem like it's coming from somewhere else than where I actually am, to not give away my position. But then I'll probably be like, I mean, you're the creepy person watching people while they sleep, but you do you. I mean...
I would not be much of a god if I were not watching over people as they slept, now would I?
Well, you've got half of that statement, right? You are not much of much.
Oh, my dear reptile. Somewhere along the way, you seem to have mistaken the courtesy extended to our Lord and our guests to you. I have availed myself as a gentleman up until this point, but I assure you at some point they will set sail and you will still be here, and I will remember these disrespects.
I mean, I've got to say, if your memory is like any of the rest of your abilities, I don't really have much confidence in that.
How delicious. When our task is complete, I shall take great pleasure in your re-education. Unfortunately, or dare I say fortunately for you, the time is not now. Where has your wizard friend gotten off to? We have need of her, and I suppose must tolerate you.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be a very good companion if I just told you where her whereabouts were. That's her business. What do you care anyway? I'd like to think that Lady Eliza keeps her servants a little bit more compartmentalized. I mean, none of us are really under your purview if you really look at it.
You are now half right. Not much of a companion. I'd hoped maybe someone who had spent more time here, understands how we do things, has at least a modicum of Our Lady's confidence might be of more use. I suppose I shall have to wake that in. Fascinating rogue, yes?
I mean, Lady Eliza's never had any complaints about me or any of my brothers. Of course, your professionalism often in doubt.
I am nothing if not professional. I wear these trappings of culture and royalty and genteel society, but in my heart, and you feel a knife press against your throat, Rayonde, in lips right by your ears, a killer. I would just as soon paint these walls with your blood and drag your body away before any of your friends awoke. You live because you are useful. When that changes, you will be eradicated. Do we understand each other, friend monk?
I mean, whatever it takes you to feel good about yourself. Ooh, I'm terrified. Consider me intimidated. Are we done?
You're right. I owe Molt a gold piece. She said that your bravado would exceed your wit. And you feel the knife is just gone. Aiden. Awake. Visitors. Lord Xander. Priests Karrin and Kerrin. If you are not indisposed, could you join us? What's that?
Huh? What? Huh?
Karrin and Kerrin, give me con checks.
Sure.
We've established our good elves do not necessarily have the highest tolerance, so let's see how they're doing.
We don't like mornings over here. That's not our 12.
12's tolerable. You feel like you've gone harder than you're accustomed to. Whatever they served you is not at all like the fermented juices on Gwyneth that you occasionally partake of.
None of the refined qualities of the drinks we're accustomed to, wouldn't you say, Kerrin? Uh-huh. Where are we? What's going on?
You awaken in the pillow fort, variably entangled.
Sorry, that's my arm. And my thigh. I didn't. Hold on. Excuse me.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Your lordship. And Karen's just kind of looking at Karrin, who's very red. Karrin is very red.
Karrin, as you saw all of this last night, but Karrin is seeing this for the first time with their wits about them. In Xander's body is an autobiographical testament to violence. And you all have done enough healing that you recognize all manner of injuries: sword, arrow, tooth, claw, boar's tusk. He is burns, singes. There is very few, exactly one that got that thing there. You know, there are very few unmarked parts of his body as he's reaching for a shirt.
They are looking respectfully.
I put on my shirt very slowly.
They are fine. Everything is fine here. There is certainly not steam coming out of their ears. Everything's fine. They're keeping their cool for sure.
Consummate professionals.
They are not really keeping their cool well.
You know what? Hold on a second. Give me a performance check. Let's see how well lay poker face.
Actually, it's a pretty good roll. It's 19.
I mean, Xander's pretty oblivious 99% of the time anyway. So.
My passive insight.
They hold it together. You know, their sibling knows. Kerrin has them read to filth, but
yeah, Kerrin is just kind of.
It is very much like statue Karrin. Kerrin. Yeah.
Like borderline shit-eating grin happening over on the Kerrin side of things.
Do you all make your way outside?
Yeah. Karrin, can you hand me my shorts there?
Of course.
Thank you. I like to sleep in the nude sometimes, you know.
How on earth did that happen?
I don't know. I think Aiden was showing me a new technique, like deep breathing, sleeping. Apparently needed to declothe for that. So it worked. I slept all night, which now I realize I think I missed my guard shift. Why is no Sierra here?
Kerrin, give me insight.
Sure. Which one of you is going to be nice to me? Not you, apparently. 14?
I will say, Kerrin, you notice Aiden's got a little bit of a 1,000-yard stare. As you all are kind of like groggy and coming to, he's moving along, but he seems preoccupied. However, with that 14, Aiden, you very much see them seeing you. As Karrin and Xander are having their exchange, you realize Kerrin knows. They're not subtle about the fact that they know, but they know.
Everything all right?
We should talk to Nasir. Talk later.
All right. Though that being said, we should talk to him and we want to talk to him. Two very different things.
You have lovely eyes, Kerrin. I should have said that more. I'm gonna get out of the pillow fort and move up to Nasir.
As you all start to kind of make your way out, Rayonde, presumably you're still hidden. Yeah.
I think he probably emerges from behind a pillar, basically, once everybody is awake.
Nasir is standing very much with his back to the pillow fort, eyeing one of the holes that Helene punched in the wall with her Eldritch Blast. You can tell it's equal parts sort of giving you all a chance to come out, you know, and compose yourself, but also looking at what she did to that wall.
Where's Helene?
I was hoping perhaps you all could tell me. Her knight's companion was a remarkable little assistance.
I mean, maybe she's just got somewhere better to be. I kind of wish I did too.
There's the door, friend. You're dismissed whenever you wish.
I could go back to the fort if you want. I thought you said you needed to speak with all of us. Have you forgotten what you came here for?
I know who it is that I've been sent to retrieve. Lady Eliza requests the honor of you all's presence.
See, that wasn't that hard, was it, mate?
You all might recall that in exchange for her assistance in your previous matter, she was going to request your assistance in a matter of great importance to her.
All right, well, we know how to get to her office, so, bye.
Sense some tension between you two over there.
He very much takes a deep breath and he says, yes, it is difficult to find good help these days. And Lady Eliza is not in her quarters.
Where is she?
By the pier near your boat, Captain.
Then we will go there. Certainly.
Aiden, right when he says that, you feel in your mind a message come through, which you're somewhat accustomed to. It is Braz, your first mate. And you hear her say in your mind, Captain, problem. Saw some weird stuff on the far side of the island. Surrounded now. Not aggressive. Should we punch our way out of here? Yes.
Just found out. On my way. Hold for us. We'll try to support.
You do not receive a further sending.
Well, we shouldn't keep the lady waiting, particularly not near my ship. I'd be a poor captain otherwise. So, sword, dagger,
Yes.
belt, just getting ready out the door energy going.
I shall personally look into where your red-headed associate might have gotten off to. Should I locate her, I will deliver her hints personally. I believe Rayonde should be a sufficient guide to the docks. You know where to take them. And he turns and walks out.
Is everything all right, Rayonde?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's always like that.
So
What?
like that look of murder for you is like playful banter between you two?
Well, I don't know about that. I think he really does hate me. And, you know, I feel partly responsible for that, but actually I quite enjoy it. He's so easy to provoke.
All
We could disintegrate you to a fine powder as soon as look at you. That is quite the bear you're poking.
Yeah, but he won't. He won't as long as I'm working for his boss.
Let's,
You know, you could always say sorry to your boss. Be careful.
Oh, point taken. Anyway, we've got somewhere to be.
Yes, immediately.
right.
I just quietly, a little bit of an aside to our tactician. There are forces mustered. My ship is surrounded.
Is your crew ready to do anything? Fight
They're
back?
ready to move. I waited. I told them to hold for us.
How many did they say were surrounding us, or them?
They didn't, so I'm figuring enough to surround a ship, probably more than we can easily take, and hopefully not more than we can take with difficulty.
Do we have any other routes that we can go to the ship without being seen?
That sounds like a Rayonde question.
Would I be correct in assuming that this system, this city has a sewer system?
Yeah, but give me let's see. You can either give me survival or a sleight of hand. Because you have spent a lot of time here, and it's kind of your business to know sneakery, so
Okay. I got a 22 on survival.
on which? Survival?
Survival, yeah.
Sewers, actually not so much, because this is a fairly rocky island. That basically, for the most part, most of the privies enter just straight to the sea. However, you feel pretty confident that there's some nooks and crannies between some of these buildings and some rocky outcroppings you could shimmy up over. That you feel like you could probably get to the boat off the beaten trail. Kind of come up on the south side of the docks, basically, versus just kind of like parading through town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, lucky for us, since there's a lot of unsavory business that happens in this place, there are a lot of ways to get to the port unseen.
Thank the gods for crime. Good. We need to move.
Hey, infrastructure is infrastructure.
It is.
Lead the way.
All of you give me stealth checks. 2 experts and 3 not experts. Let's see how this goes.
That is unnecessary, but I'll take it.
I think I have. Do I have Pass Without Trace as a part of Shadow Arts? I'm trying to see if I have something like that.
Unfortunately, I don't know off the top of my head. I've never played a Shadow Monk, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
I think I can spend 2 key points and get the benefits of Pass Without Trace, which will give everybody an additional +10 to their stuff.
You can even bestow it to the party. Okay.
Yeah, it's multiple people. Who gives me a +27.
Tell me what it looks like when your particular brand of Pass Without a Trace. What does that manifest as?
I reach into one of my kind of leather sort of gauntlet things that are attached to my robes, and I pull out 2 sticks of incense, which I then kind of draw across my mask, and there's a puff of flame from the nostrils of the mask that ignites the incense, and then I just kind of give it a quick wave, and then our images become kind of blurry.
Excellent. So with a +10, what do our dear twins end up with?
24.
Hey, and Xander?
21.
Aiden, you see Xander go to take the first step with his armored foot, which you know is just going to ring through the hallway like a bell. And just the moment it hits, it is just sort of like...
So, just so I say the number out loud, just so I verbalize this. With the Pass Without a Trace, it's a 47 from me.
Ooh!
Hand to God. the number I was going to say is 47. I was like, I think I say 47. I think I say 47. Yeah.
47.
Yeah. It's like
that's significantly better than my 34. And I am game is acknowledging game here.
I mean, 30 is basically an impossible task. So it very much is like, okay, so we're going to go. Okay. All right. Everybody ready? Okay. And Aiden's just not there.
No.
Like you're looking right at him and then he's just not there. Yep.
Maybe it's almost enough to help group stealth this delightful Duke man. Maybe almost.
You know, with that much stealth, yes, you will sort of make your way out of the castle, kind of like pull a hard right and like make your way through some servants' quarters, and then kind of like out the back where they dump the trash. Like you very much know how to do it, Rayonde. With that much stealth, Aiden, I will say you pick up on a few other things when you're kind of along the way. Just outside the gates, the sun is setting again. You all actually, the sun is actually set already. Like it's dusk. You basically slept the entire day without realizing it. So it is, while there is still a certain amber light in the sky, the sun is definitely down behind the horizon now. The people in the town are going about their business. You can smell dinners being cooked, you know, like the life is happening. But you very much see every once in a while, like they're very much like looking back towards the castle, like waiting for their cue to react when you all come out. There are a lot of guards around that you noticed, and most of them like kind of also like much lazier, sort of alternate between looking at the people and then looking back towards the castle. Every once in a while, like a particularly pot-bellied man standing there with a halberd, like looks out at the townspeople's kind of like, you know, and they kind of like their smiles get extra big as they go about their business. Cool. Only on a natural 20 was anybody going to have any chance of detecting you guys, and they didn't. So as you all ease over and kind of like climb up over one of the nearby rocky outcroppings, recall this particular embankment on Snowden is kind of like rectangular straight to the ocean. Like it kind of like the walls of the mountain itself that it's kind of carved into are sort of its main defenses, and it's kind of like, so it's got a mountain on one side, relatively high walls, and then the ocean. Like it's kind of like just sitting in this almost naturally fortified area essentially. So while it's got walls, they're not particularly high. The cliffs are the walls. As you all kind of like get up over it, you can see the town underneath. You can see the bay. All of you give me perception checks. You can do it with advantage, Aiden, because you are a sailor. Actually, you're well, in this life, you're all not sailors to the extent Aiden is. Aiden is. So yeah. Okay.
Thank you for that advantage. That really just saved my turkey bacon.
17 for Xander.
17.
28 for the twins.
28.
30 for Rayonde.
30. Cool.
And 30 for Aiden.
You know, again, it's almost like you kids are good at this kind of stuff.
Stealth bros.
As you all are sort of tromping along oddly quietly, like Xander, you're kind of like look like you watch your boot hitting gravel and it's not crunching, you know, and it's not leaving any boot prints. You're like, that's the, what is the rest of you were kind of like head on a swivel tactical thing here. You notice a couple of things. You notice the balcony that Lady Eliza was standing on when she greeted you. You can see down the, like it's almost like an angle. If she was like here, don't cry for me, Argentina type thing, like you guys can see like what goes down that hallway now. And there is a very large, very ornately carved set of double doors that is shut at the end of that hallway. Rayonde, you having been in there, no, that's where her private chambers are, is right through there. You also notice the scene I described to Aiden with the townsfolk and life going on. You notice out in the bay, the number of ships you would expect to be anchored off of Snowden is probably less than you would expect by about maybe 30%. There is a couple of galleons anchored out in the harbor. Aiden, you feel like if you just had to, you could probably escape them, just like punch it and like pull some evasive maneuvers, but they pack enough firepower that it'd make for a rough evening. Yeah, trying to yeah, if they really decided they were trying to sink you, it would be not enjoyable. But
can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah, but there is one more important thing that you see. But yes, I will not forget the important thing. What are your questions? Because that is quite a high roll.
Yeah. So from our vantage point, can we see where we might expect a sharpshooter, aka Molt, to post up in this whole thing? Because we know she's in play. I've seen her around, and this seems like where it's going to be. If I were Molt, where am I going to be? Do I see her?
You do not see her, but I will say you're like, if I was going to notch somebody, I'd be there, or there.
Okay, so I've got my sight lines lined up. Just real quick question. Since it is sunset, does the sunset here over the dock side of the island such that land-based assault on the ship is fighting into the sun?
Snowden is at the southern tip of the Moonshae Isles. So if the sun sets in the west, it sets off towards the ocean.
I mean, just an island, so it just depends what side of the island the docks are on.
The docks are directly south. Like the city, which I apologize, the name suddenly escapes me, is on the southernmost tip of the southernmost island. It's like from straight out from the dock is like ocean until you.
So we'll be casting lots of shadows across the field. That is also useful for some of us. Hello. Okay, thank you. Please.
Now, however, on the northwest side of the island, which is roughly in the direction of Norland, Xander's home, and also the Sword Coast, where Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, everything is on the Sword Coast, is kind of immediately to the east of the Moonshae Isles. This is sort of northeast around there. There, you can make out as you're looking out over the island, there is a patch of shadow along the a bay that is darker than it should be. The sun is setting and the island is casting its own heavy shadows, but it is inky black over there. You, as a smuggler, Aiden, you're like, that's where I'd conceal something. You, as a practitioner of the shadow arts, Rayonde, are like, yeah, that's magic. Like, something is being concealed right over there. Karrin and Kerrin, again, the mechanism by which it's done might elude you, but you all are fairly in touch with the natural order. You're like, something is amiss over there. Kind of it is even difficult to make out whether or not it's a bay, because it's like the normal shadows have essentially been deepened dramatically, so it's not possible to really know what's over there. You're just like, something is being hidden along the shoreline, in the water along the shoreline. Xander, you yourself take in some of the more of the tactical things, like you're kind of looking at the soldier placement and whatnot, but that aspect of it you do not clock.
So just so we're getting this right, we're coming out from the south, like from the outcropping right next to the dock.
You're under
from
attack.
The north. Dock is southmost of the island.
Yeah. Okay, so we're coming from the north.
Yeah.
You're heading south.
And northwest of the dock is that shadow in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Northeast. I might have said northwest of it. It is on the Sword Coast side of the island, and the Sword Coast is to the east of where you are. So northeast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And I don't know it.
Yeah. I mean, you all can
right.
Reliably.
I can elbow a man.
You do more than that. But so how many people how many soldiers do I see surrounding the docks, though?
As you all get a little closer over there, there are not as many as were there for the show of force when you all arrived. there was a few dozen. There probably was 200 soldiers before, as sort of like both. Yes, you are visiting dignitary, but also show of force behave when you get off this boat before.
Mhm.
Now it's probably closer to about 50. Although, Xander,
'em.
give me an insight check.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, you're like, we got him. Good numbers, good odds.
Good. I like those odds.
I know, you're like, where's Helene? That's one meteor swarm.
For real though.
Not on my ship, friend.
I got 17.
You're a tactician, though. There's not a lot of room around here to just stow troops. It's possible. I mean, Snowden is it's an island. I mean, like there's more room than just this. It's possible she redeployed them around the island, but it seems unlikely. You would assume, Xander, if they're not immediately here, based on the fact that there's less soldiers than before and less ships than before, she may have deployed them somewhere.
And what about there's like a small little there's like a town nearby by the docks, right? Is there any sniper's nest or anybody I see on top maybe that could be
basically like castle town that is sort of in the shadow of the castle. Docks is essentially kind of like, imagine it's like a long rectangle essentially with almost like the castle is the crown jewel, strip of town, docks, ocean.
So do I see, or are there any like shapes or shadows maybe moving around on the top or within the building
I already
themselves?
walked sight lines for Sniper's Nest looking for Molt. We didn't see anyone there.
I will say also, when you guys were coming in, there were snipers in position in those places last time. This time there does not appear to be.
Okay.
And you don't see Molt.
Is there a clear...
we're supposed to meet with Lady Eliza, right?
Here.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, I'm describing what you all are seeing as you're kind of making your way over parallel to the city. Like she's supposed to be down by the docks closer to your boat. And from a distance, you do see there is a concentration of security closer to the Wish. She might be there. She's not very tall, so it's like she doesn't necessarily like stand out at 200 paces. Although Aiden, again, all of this very much has the same frenemies feel it had before. Like it's not like they don't have their weapons out, threatening to hostilely board the Wish. But again, you don't bring 50 soldiers, to not make a statement, essentially.
This is, we're about to ask for a favor, and it's going to be extremely coercive, and we're extremely not going to like it. And you can speak to more than 4 dozen of our friends if you disagree.
Yeah, it'd be that is a nice boat you've got. It'd be a real shame if something were to happen to it.
And you know what? It would. So I would love to figure this out without anything happening. So if we can do that, that'd be great, friends. Great, because I have concerns.
Is you all, unless you guys want to talk about something, Rayonde does guide you very carefully, stealthily along. Yeah,
I think I would probably notice that the others have noticed this sort of shadowy area where something is going to be concealed, where something is being concealed. So I hope whatever operation is about to happen, it won't run to get cross purposes for any goals that we have. But you all see that, right? There's something in the offing.
Yeah.
Certainly doesn't look right.
Yeah, I see it.
Karrin just sort of gently guides
Xander.
I mean,
look where I'm pointing.
Yeah, Xander, you're like the sun's going down. I get it. It's that the sun's going that way, the shadows are going this way, of course. And they're like, no, like there though.
Yeah, I saw that there.
Okay,
also,
also,
Rayonde is a local. There's not usually such a thing there. Like it's not like everybody knows that Shadow Bay type thing. Like this is not something you've seen before.
No, Rayonde is Shadow Bay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna listen to Lady Eliza and be very positive and polite, right? That's kind of what I'm getting here.
I personally would like to get on the ship and into a safe area before we meet with Eliza. Just, yeah.
Would
just
love to have the leverage to arrange this meeting in that manner, and we don't have it.
Yeah.
We're doing this where she has dozens of her troops pointed at my ship.
I mean,
she has
we are
pointed at my ship.
At her mercy, which is pretty much how she likes it.
And unless we want to go in shooting first, that's what we've got.
Well,
to remind you again of the political nuance of this situation, Lady Eliza ostensibly is the war. She is here as the I forget her exact title, but she's here theoretically. She's the viceroy of High King Kendrick. Theoretically, her power is derived from Kendrick's power. It is just an open secret that she has kidnapped his son, that he has not made a big deal about because it makes him look weak that he couldn't protect his own child. So theoretically, she's an ally. Theoretically, she serves the same king that you do. But everybody kind of knows that it's like but it's not though. You know. So that is to say, theoretically, open conflict with her could make you all look just as bad as it makes her look, because to all appearances, she is a loyal servant of the crown.
Well, any chance that we can get the quote-unquote jump on her would make her look lacking tactically.
Okay.
Yeah, she won't like that.
Where's the kid?
Do I know that? Because I don't think I do.
You have not laid eyes on Oren since you've been here, Xander.
We saw him in the castle, and I expect he's probably still there.
Rayonde saw him. Rayonde seen him. Helene has seen him. She did not bring him out to see Xander.
The twins could find him. I bet.
Yes, Kerrin.
There are a number of ways that we could possibly either locate him or determine what is happening in this general area. It simply depends on what you would prefer to do first. We're fine with whatever.
I think this is just...
I will just say, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. At the risk of being excessively meta, and since Helene's not here to speak for herself, I will say somewhere along the time that you all were talking last night, Rayonde, she told you she saw him with Lady Eliza, just to insert that fact into evidence. You know, she laid eyes on the boy last night, or right before, I guess when everybody was going to bed near sunrise.
If we don't meet with her, she's gonna know that something's wrong.
True. But if we were to, let's say, rescue the prince in a timely manner without her realizing, that would favor us a lot more than her. She would lose her chip.
We can send some sneak. I mean, the very fact that there are this many forces here means she has uncovered other areas. They would be more lightly guarded than otherwise.
I agree.
If you two really can find him, we can send you all and treat with her while we get the chip out from under her.
Would you like me to locate this chip?
I mean, I think he's a Warren, but yes.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
Sure. If you give us 10 minutes, we can do that for you.
Who would like...
By what mechanism do you intend to do this, Karrin and Kerrin?
So for knowledge clerics, there are a couple of ways we could go about doing this. I could scry. I also have an interesting feature called Visions of the Past. But that requires me to require on a specific object or my surroundings to receive information of recent events. And since we don't know where Oren is, I'm thinking the scry is probably the better call here. Hold on. Where did they go? Oh no. I lost the spell.
I would say also, before you do this, Karrin, Kerrin, and Xander, give me insight checks.
That is going to be a twin insight. 22.
22.
I got a 25, but whew, it hovered over a 1 for quite a while. I was a little terrified, and then went to 19.
I know.
Right.
Xander's like, new plan, assassination. You're like, she can't get nobody if she dead. Yeah. As you all are discussing your potential moves here, something kind of occurs to both Karrin, Kerrin, and Xander almost at once, especially being royalty and having hosted dignitaries. It is not a long trip from the castle to the gates, especially not when the people are supposed to start cheering when they see you. If you all take too much longer, she's going to know something's wrong and or possibly be offended.
Unfortunately, the methods that we have in order to discern the prince's location would probably take too long. So I think that we have little choice at this point than to play her game.
Possibly. But do we have any servants, perhaps, that we could persuade to maybe wear cloaks, and we can do a quick little mud slap on their face? I don't know, something that helps to make them maybe look not like servant anymore.
I think you're really vastly underestimating her acumen.
I'm just putting ideas out here, okay?
And tricking her and failing will make her quite cross.
Right.
We have-
Didn't Nasir say that you could go? He halfway dismissed you. Rayonde.
That is true.
If there's one person who doesn't need to be at this meeting and could peel off and at least take a shot at looking for him.
That is
and
true.
For Helene. It's you.
Yeah, and if the twins need some more time, then maybe we all just trickle in.
We have
We could-
to move it.
We could send the prince a message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Magic.
We have that.
You're like, that's a thing to have. The two of you were like, that's a thing you all do a lot. Yeah.
Try.
The twins kind of talk amongst themselves. So the important thing is to ask him if he knows where he is. I would say so, yeah. And to make sure that there's a fairly easy way to get to him. Oh, there's most assuredly not, but at least he might have an idea of how many guards, that kind of thing. Okay. So, yay, 25 words on the fly.
Here we go.
All
Wait,
right.
hang on. Wait. I need to check one thing here. Because ascending is what you're about to cast, right?
Yes. Creature with
Okay.
which I am familiar.
Yeah, I would. That's just, yeah, I will say you're familiar with the boy. Again, at the, I'd say you're at least familiar with him.
Okay.
Spotted him once at the Kendrick family picnic.
Right.
Right. Prince Orin, we have been sent to help. Where are you located? How many guards? You can respond.
Hello? Are you in my head? I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. I don't know where I am. Did my dad send you? Help!
Well, I think we can try that again and maybe actually get some more information. Give us a second. So we're going to try that one more time.
Okay.
No, you got this. You got this.
Yeah.
Are you inside or outside? Can you see anything that is special? Can you hear anyone outside?
Oh, this poor boy. Okay. I was like, what does he know? Narrator voice, not much. Okay.
He's a child. It's fine.
Yeah. He isn't of an indeterminate age, by the way. I'm going to say he's 8-ish. You know, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say he's 8-ish.
Soon he will be mighty.
Okay, so hi, head hero. She takes me somewhere every morning. I don't know where we are. There's a lot of halflings. And everyone looks at me mean.
And the twins repeat that to the rest of the group, and they're kind of looking expectantly at Rayonde.
Does this mean anything to you?
Is there something I can roll, Dave, that would let me know about the locals?
Yeah, you're all educated. You're all educated, traveled people. I will give all of you history to see if that means anything to you.
Is there like a crime check I can use?
You know, Aiden's been anomalously well informed lots of times. You know, like it's
natural 20 for me.
Hey.
Oh,
12.
Just a 3 for me.
21 for I know things. I know things. Why did you doubt me? You were doubting me. I wasn't doubting. I've never doubted me.
Okay. With a 21, I would say, Aiden, the main thing that pops into your mind is that doesn't sound like anywhere around here, at least nowhere that you could sail and get back to in a day. If Helene saw her with him when the sun was coming up and she's standing right over there when the sun is going down, there's not really anywhere that fits that description that she could have gotten to and back.
She's magically yoinking them around.
And as far as you know, there's no significant halfling presence on Snowden. I mean, you know, there's halflings around all over Moonshae, but nowhere like where you're like an anomalously high number of halflings. What you know, Rayonde, and I will leave it up to you whether or not you want to share. Presumably you will, because it is you've been tasked in the past with silencing certain dissenting voices. People try and start hurtful rumors that cannot necessarily be allowed to spread. And you personally have put an end to some of those rumors. One such thing is that Lady Eliza is from a place called which is on the Sword Coast. Usually a relatively hostile nation. Most adventurers know because Port Nyanzaru in Chult is out of Aiden, you know, you've spent some wild summers down in Port Nyanzaru. And that the rumor was that she was secretly a plant for all along. That is why she's been doing what she's been doing, was not just for her own glory, but for theirs. And does have an anomalously high population of halflings.
Well, context being what it is, maybe a lot of the rumors about Lady Eliza's international connections are correct. And whatever the case, if he is in Arm, that's not somewhere I can get back and forth too quickly.
When he says it out loud, again, just for the sake of specificity, it's A-M-N. I don't always have the best enunciations. It's It's not very easy to say.
A lot of consonants.
Aiden, give me random sleight of hand. We'll just sleight of hand. Sleight of hand is the all-purpose crime check.
Love it. Oh, don't. Nope. Nope. Wait, did I take? I did. I use a point of luck.
Okay.
Only one reason for a rogue to use a point of luck.
That's it. Crime.
Crime better.
Oh, that's so much better. Oh boy, 32.
You've been to it's not right on the coast. It's set back a little bit. There's some rivers and waterways that reach. That's why it's kind of still a fairly large kingdom. Otherwise, you need a lot of water to support a lot of people. But it's set back a little bit. Whereas a place like Waterdeep is right on the coast. So Neverwinter's also right on the ocean. I'm back a little ways. You've been through there. It's a fairly rough place. They kind of give you a little bit of the creeps. Really, you haven't spent a lot of pieces. It's kind of one of those you come in and drop your cargo and keep moving because they're an odd sort. They're an odd sort through there. The rest of you, at least you know it exists. I mean, it is not necessarily a global power, but I mean it's enough that you could all probably find it on a map, whether or not you've ever been there.
But if Kendrick sent a fleet, they could roll them easily enough.
If House Kendrick sent a fleet to attack them.
Go Yoinka boy.
It'd be tough. It'd be tough because again, the power of House Kendrick is a shadow of what it once was. It is the position with Kendrick, to give you a real world example, is very similar to the royals in England right now. Everybody acts like they matter, but if the queen was really do this, it's like,
but do we though?
Yeah. What if we don't?
So Xander's precious corgi in this metaphor. Understood completely.
Yeah. Did every please and thank you bow? Oh yeah, no, you're the king. 100%. Rule with an iron fist. Yeah, absolutely.
So Aiden just subconsciously pats Xander and says, "You're a very good boy," as he's thinking. But we have to know that now.
It would be almost impossible for the might of House Kendrick to attack head on and win. He still has allies, you never know what solids he could call in. But again, simply the fact that he has not rallied the might of House Kendrick to sail south to Snowdon and take his son back in and of itself is telling.
All right. Well, we have a lead on where he is. All that means is that if we get through this day, if we get through this meeting, if we get on a ship and get out of here successfully past whatever it is she's demanding of us and those galleons out there, there's a chance that we can be an insertion team that goes and gets him out because there's no reason for her to know that we know where he is or to watch where we're sailing. If we get through this right now, right now, and survive, we have a shot. I say
one last thing. Rayonde, give me straight wisdom.
I also want to remind you, Dave, that I have the pirate background. So if we need help at sea, there may be other independent folks who can help us.
You roll me a sleight of hand also then. Again, as an all-purpose crime check, roll me sleight of hand.
I got a 21.
You probably been on business. Honestly, you probably like it there because it is a fairly bleak place. You probably felt at least partially at home when you were there on business.
Yeah.
He was making a real killing in that line of work.
But wisdom, just straight wisdom, Rayonde. Just to see if you remember something.
21 again. Oh, sorry, that's a save, not a check.
I give it to you. It's all right. It's close enough. I mean, again, I'm just approximating you remembering something. Recall, you have seen Lady Eliza's scrying bowl.
Yeah. So I guess I would probably say to the twins, so I'm not totally clear on how your far sight works, but there is a bowl, a device that Lady Eliza uses, presumably to stay in contact with remote locations. If you had access to that, would that help in some way for pinpointing a location?
Our ability to scry comes from a different source. We don't need items such as that in order to be able to see more or less anything we're familiar with. It seems she's not capable of that.
Ooh, is that counter-espionage I hear from you?
I mean, I like Aiden's idea of just saying yes to everything, getting out to sea, and reassessing our options, perhaps through some of the avenues that we've already had some success in exploring, but who knows, maybe we can get greater detail with further communication with the young prince.
All right. Then we'll move before we're there to start worrying, getting suspicious.
You know, we will be missed if we don't show up soon.
Yeah.
Last point of clarification, especially because you've been pretty stealthy and effective up until now. Do you want to somehow rejoin and make it seem like you guys came the normal way, or do you want to essentially kind of like sneak up from a different angle to where she is?
Let's play fat and happy. Just go in.
Yeah.
Are you all going to try and do it subtle, or are you going to make it seem like you were out just like romping in the hills and sort of like just made your way back?
I picked flowers and put them in Xander's hair.
Let's romp.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can pretend to be hungover and say we got lost.
Pretend, yes.
If you guys ever want a truly delightful romp, you really should visit our woods.
We'll take you up on that.
I'm down to romp in your woods. That's not... I'm gonna...
Kerrin with a shit-eating grin, Karrin with a blush.
All right, so I guess I let my shadow arts drop, and we just like strut down a street or whatever.
You all kind of like come scuffling down a hill, kick up more rocks than you probably had to. You know, you kind of like
obnoxious.
A couple of guards whip around and like hold up their halberds and stuff, and then they see that it's you and sort of like stand up a little bit, like kind of like get out of the way as you kind of like make your way down the docks. You see a couple of the nearby fisher folk that see you are like, oh yeah, no, the cute. Oh hey, heroes, hi, hello. Did catch of the day. We got what do you like? We've anything of the local fair? Can I interest you in a?
We're on very pressing business with the Viceroy, and unfortunately cannot stop to shop.
Oh well, we can have something sent to the ship.
Already got a catch. Thank you.
As you sort of like make your way down, you see Lady Eliza turns around, and this time she is in what looks like a blue silk gown with her hair up with pins through it that's somewhat like, it's almost like the rays of the sun that are like poked in to like kind of hold her hair up. She is not terribly tall, although she does wear very high heels, so she stands about 5'7" total. And you see just the faintest little bit of a frown line on her brown skin. And she goes, oh, hello. I was beginning to worry that you all might have gotten lost or otherwise waylaid on the way to our meeting.
My fault. Distractible. Didn't mean to keep your duke from you, lordship.
And when she looks at you and she does, like, she's like, you honor me again with your presence, Duke.
Oh, The honor is all mine. I was told that you had a rather important matter to discuss with us.
I do. One of the most pressing. I felt you all might be especially qualified to help me because it is a matter of diplomacy.
Please indulge us.
She slowly starts to walk forward and right towards you, Karrin and Kerrin. And she actually circles the two of you and she like looks you up and down completely. And she says, I am intensely envious of your beautiful skin tone. I realize I always have this odd grayish pallor on mine that I can never quite get rid of, but the two of you are positively radiant. You glow with the beauty of the Feywild.
The compliment is appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, does it even count as a compliment when I'm merely speaking the truth that any sentient can see with their own two eyes? Don't you agree, Aiden and Xander? Are they not radiant in their beauty?
You'd never hear me disagree, but they are in good company all around.
Now, forgive me for being pretentious, but you, Karrin and Kerrin, are not just diplomats of some note, but you also are a manner of elven royalty.
That is true, yes. Why do you ask?
I hate to be so brutish and crass as to point out our previous agreement that you all would assist me with some small matter should I exert a not insignificant amount of mystical power to shift you all to that abominable plane of Avernus in the pursuit of your friend. Speaking of, where is your red wizard? She's usually very difficult to miss.
She was briefly indisposed. I'm sure she'll just pop up.
But I would love to delay, but unfortunately time is of the essence, and I worry that I might not have the luxury of delaying much longer. A number of pieces on the board are already moving, and I'm hoping to avert catastrophe.
And how exactly can we be of help?
You all live on Gwyneth, correct?
Yes, we do.
Have you by chance made the acquaintance of a certain High Lady Ordolph? Before you answer, for our other friends here, who I'm sure you all know this, but just to make sure that I myself have my facts in order, High Lady Ordolph is a very powerful, influential lady in the Moonshae Isles, a Fey queen. She brought her entire realm of Sorrowfall into the prime material plane on Gwyneth, rose her city from the depths of the lake. What a magnificent piece of mystical prowess that must be. Now, to the side, Karrin and Kerrin and Xander both know two very different things. Karrin and Kerrin, yeah, she's a Fey queen, and yeah, she's on Gwyneth. And she'll talk to you guys, but she's incredibly prickly. Like, she's not really interested in what's going on Moonshae. You all give me a wisdom check, Karrin and Kerrin, because you all may know something the others don't.
My dice don't agree with you. It's only a 12. My dice have been really mean to me today.
I'm gonna give you this one with advantage because there's a chance that one of the twins was paying more attention in history than the other ones.
That's a better. That's a 17 plus 5, 22.
I am
Sorry,
going
23.
23. All right. I'm kind of going to split the difference between the two.
22.
Here is what you know, especially because you all were raised on these stories. She lived on Gwyneth centuries ago. She is very powerful. As an elf, she's functionally immortal, especially an elf of the Feywild. Like, no one knows how long she's going to live. And she lived on Gwyneth for a very long time. And there was a prophecy that she would die on the prime material plane, but she would die averting a great catastrophe. And to avoid that fate, she literally took her kingdom and moved it to the Feywild. It sank, what the physical manifestation of it sank to the bottom of the lake, but practically they just went to the Feywild. Relatively recently, within just a handful of years, she came back again. And the word on the waves is she knows that, and this is an intensely, this would be a family secret, which you probably wouldn't say out loud in mixed company, but you might share with your friends, is the reason why she came back is she believes the conflict that she's meant to die in is imminent. So it was like, that's why she's attempted no diplomatic ties, no attempts at like plugging herself into the greater community. She's like, I'm here for the thing that was foretold in the time before time, that, you know, my end is nigh, essentially, which is almost difficult for you to believe. And many of her own like followers and adherents don't believe it because she's not quite a god, but she's basically a demigod. So it's like you who have the power to take a kingdom to the Feywild is like, I'm going to die here, and they're like, you won't though. You know. But that's the word on the waves. Xander, you know, she's the reason that the power of House Kendrick was broken, because House Kendrick used to be based on Gwyneth, and that was your ancestral homeland. And when she came back, she was like, but what if humans are stupid though? And obliterated a lot of House Kendrick's forces, and they lost a lot more trying to take it back from her and drive her back into the Feywild. And they even thought that like this was the end, like this unchecked wave is going to roll out and sweep across Moonshade and kill us all, but she didn't. She essentially drove everyone out of Gwyneth that were not elves, or at least directly there at her pleasure. And so House Kendrick was broken, but not destroyed. So that name has a very different taste in your mouth when you hear it, Xander.
Do we have diplomatic relations with them?
She doesn't want to talk to anybody. The times that you've tried, they are usually politely turned back. It's not like anytime you send diplomats, they're executed. But it is, yeah, very much like, but no, though. Like, you know, we're not really interested in what you're selling. Yeah.
Well,
Eliza sort of looks and she's like, so you've heard of her? I would like to open communications with her. I would like to have formal diplomatic relations with her, because I believe there is a great deal that the proud people of Snowden can offer the lady and offer Gwyneth, and you two in particular are specially equipped to help open such a line of communication, and you all are specially equipped to motivate and assist them. I apologize. I realize you are both very dedicated servants to both your family and your community and your God, and I have the utmost respect for someone that does all of those things. But I would just hate if you let some sort of prudish sense of obligation block you to the possibilities, and again, I am remiss to admit debt that I am owed. Please help me.
And how exactly do you expect us to establish this communication? You, Well, people know that we have failed at every attempt.
Because now we have royal diplomats. And she very much like bows low in front of Karrin and Kerrin. She will not turn away her own kind.
All right. And how do you expect us to move forward then? What are we offering?
Oh, Lord Kendrick. Might I call you Lord Kendrick? Have you assumed that as your rightful surname along with your title?
Xander's fine.
Lord Xander. And she like cozies up next to you and like wraps her arm around yours. And she's like, ooh, it's so strong. You don't really expect me to solve this whole problem for you, do you? You're such a tactical genius. I'm sure you can figure out some way to sway just one little old elf. Clearly, she's come back to the prime material plane for something. There is something here that she wants, and I myself would like to be a vital link in the chain in giving that to her.
And after
for the glory of House Kendrick, of course. You know, it's I, too, bore the shame of the black eye that the mighty house suffered at the hands of Lady Orloff, and I have a vested interest in healing those wounds.
Of course. Why would we doubt you?
You flatter me. I'm no fool, adventurers. I realize that this has been an unusual set of circumstances, and it was slightly cruel of me to extract a favor in exchange for delivering something to you that you wanted so dearly. But, Rayonde, I would like to ask you 2 questions. In our previous dealings, have I not always dealt fairly with you?
You have kept your promises, yes.
And did I not help deliver your red wizard as I said I would?
Also true, yes.
Your wisdom is only exceeded by your might, good sir.
So what does success look like here? You want us to bring you back her kerchief, or?
No. For one such as she, even with the assistance of such vaunted royal diplomats as Karrin and Kerrin, even getting the audience will be no small thing, dare I say, swaying her to permit me an audience. However, and she reaches inside of her robe, it's odd because it's like a gown, but she puts her hand in it and produces a parchment, which you're like, how did you, wait, there wasn't enough. How she,
there's no
magic pocket, yeah.
She pulls it out and there's a wax seal on it. And she holds it out to you, Aiden. And she's like, if you would but deliver this missive and ensure that she reads it, I would be willing to call our arrangement done. You are muted. Good at rogue.
That's a deliverable. It's deliverable.
Seems easy enough. Is that all you will require from us, Eliza?
Far be it from me to put a Duke of House Kendrick into undue dispose. Yes, that is all. Gain an audience. Express to her my desire for diplomatic ties and deliver my missive.
Body language check.
Ensure she reads it.
Of course.
How Karrin looking right now?
Oh, how
No,
are Kerrin and
I'm
Karrin?
looking over to how they doing?
I think that a lot of this is making them slightly uncomfortable. They are viewing Lady Eliza with a deep level of suspicion. But they've also been slowly edging themselves closer to Xander as well, in like a semi-protective, sort of worried kind of way. But generally keeping rather silent. Like every time she sort of like refers to them as royalty and stuff like that, like there's not it's not discomfort so much as it's not something they necessarily need to be constantly like poked about.
Karrin and Kerrin, give me either history or religion, whichever is going to be higher. Presumably it's religion, but you never know.
They are both the same.
Hey.
Not bad. 22. Another 22.
This might go without saying, but I would say the twins are aware of two pieces of information. The pure request of opening diplomatic communication is not unreasonable, especially not from a woman in her position. You do know it is nowhere near as simple as she's making it seem, and it is definitely nowhere near as innocent as she's making it seem. You didn't necessarily need the dice to tell you that, but you know, there, I say it out loud for the sake of people listening to the podcast. Yeah.
We would be more than happy to fulfill your request however it is possible we can. But we hope you will be understanding of the challenges that lie before us in securing this audience. She may not turn us away because we are her own kind, but she may not welcome us either.
Oh, my dear clerics. She gets very, very, very close to Kerrin. Very much in Kerrin's bubble. And like turns her head and is looking at you. She says, "You all stormed the very gates of the abyss in the pursuit of a memory of friendship. I have the utmost confidence in your ingenuity."
And well, you should.
Now, Captain, I will leave you all to make your preparations to set sail. I have been told your vessel, the Wish, should be quite fast on the open waves. I've been told it has an unusual make. I've been told that sits lower on the waterline than it should for a craft of its kind. You wouldn't by chance have any illicit compartments that I, as Viceroy to House Kendrick, would be honor-bound to inspect now, would you?
I'm sure you would never accuse any companion of our Lord Duke here of any wrongdoing that might besmirch his reputation. Of course I don't.
Well, it is my duty to ask.
Understood, of course, but we needn't worry about such trifles.
Well, as far as I know, you all have the option to raise anchor and depart forthwith, or you might take the time to restock in the hopes that your red wizard returns. Should she turn up after you have set sail, I could have her delivered on one of my vessels, but of course, although their weaponry is both powerful and accurate, My ships are built for defense rather than haste.
Well, this was all in the service of securing our Red Wizard, so we should wait for her and adjust our stocks.
I suppose. Lady Orloff has been back for some years. Another day would not be, or at least another night, would not be intolerable, but I would request, dear heroes, you all not allow sunrise to catch you here on this dear island. As I said, the pieces are set. They're already moving across the board, and I would hate for things to not transpire in their own proper pace for the sake of diplomacy. I abhor conflict. It is needless. And do you know why it is needless?
Please, humor us. Tell us.
If I might share a little secret with you all, and do please forgive me, Karrin and Kerrin, but like your associates here who have risen in the ranks by their own wits and deeds, I also was born to humble origins, and in times of conflict, it is not grand heroes who suffer, it is the small people who suffer. And she motions back towards the town. I do not wish for difficult days to descend on a single section of the Moonshay Isles. That is why I am hoping that you will proceed with both haste and skill to bring this matter to rectification. And when she smiles, although she is... Actually, all of you give me charisma saves.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Going on 17.
Mm-hmm.
18.
Mm-hmm.
19.
I was like, can we get a 19?
Yep.
Like 17, I get 17, 17, I get 18, 18,
You get a 19.
Amazing.
You all know. Obviously, she's up to something. But as she's giving it to you here, and you're seeing the silk dress, and you're hearing her voice and her gentle, like, caresses of your arm and things, and like lean into you and giggle while she's talking. You get it though. You're like this lady's playing us, but I mean, I see the things she's doing here.
Right, you know. She's playing us, but I'll be the record while she spins me.
You're like, I could see the value of keeping her, of staying on her good side.
Oh, certainly, and especially to her face right now.
Yeah.
She sort of after she says, looks at you and she says, well, I must take my leave. I've been on the docks significantly longer than I thought I was going to be, and I have many tasks that require my personal attention. So I will leave you to it to cast off now or once your wizard turns up, as is your will. But again, I do ask that you depart before daybreak.
Of course. We'll be gone before daybreak.
You, of course, are welcome to return at any time. I realize this may seem like our business is concluded, but I like to think of all of you as friends of Snowden. And I would be happy to extend my hospitality to any of you that wishes to return once the deed is done.
That's very gracious of you. I hope if our preparations take just a bit of time, we might prevail on your hospitality this evening as well, It was so lovely to be at your table. It would be our honor.
Oh, my dear Captain, I'm sure you have a number of tales of having slipped in and out of a number of ports, don't you?
I'd be happy to sing for my supper.
She just sort of like taps you on the shoulder, and she's like, I know you have risen to the storied heights that you've risen because you understand business before pleasure, Captain. I will, of course, make my home available. Perhaps we might have a moment to have words before the night elapses, but I have seen to it that your vessel has been restocked. And your first mate, Braz, the tall woman.
Yes.
She has a good eye on her, but would you possibly mind reminding her to keep it on your back and on the good of the vessel? No need to peek into things that don't necessarily concern her. That not necessarily concern her.
She's terribly conspicuous. There's a reason why she works for me, and it's because she's thorough. I'll tell her to rest just a touch. It goes against her nature, but for you, I'll tell her to take it a bit easy.
One cannot argue with results. And Rayonde, you have served me wonderfully in this matter, and I would request that you continue to serve me until its resolution as an extension of our standard operating agreement.
I mean, your agreement with my monastery has been longer than my tenure as a professional, so...
It has. You are a credit to that vaunted community.
We are very specialized in our pursuit of enlightenment.
Yes. As I said to the Pirate King, one cannot argue with results. Lord Kendrick.
Lady Eliza.
Karrin and Kerrin. My warmest wishes to your families. And she wheels around and leaves. And you notice when she turns and walks away, 10 of the soldiers just fall in behind her, but 40 of them are still kind of on the docks. They're not just like totally at attention, but I mean, they're sort of like, they're at ease, but they're still on the docks.
All right, if y'all will pardon me, I have some cargo that I need to move before we leave. I'll be back. I got some Melissa stuff. I'm just gonna take care of it real quick.
They gotta drop the spice before the Imperials board you.
Last minute crime.
Off in the distance, bring me Aiden and the Wookiee. They will pay for this outrage.
And we have our permission slip back into the castle if we want to try to take that scry from her before we leave.
I definitely think
she's not going to know. She'll totally know.
I definitely think we should. I think
no,
we
you did not.
No,
we need to stick to exactly what we've agreed to and get out on the water before we make any other decisions.
All right. You say
I mean, if the prince was in the castle, that'd be something different, but he's not, and we know that. So let's get out to sea where we're at least, I'm not going to say safe, but, more so than here.
We can't leave her
God, every time I talk to her, I worry that I'm not going to survive the encounter. And that's just us talking.
Oh, isn't that great?
We can't leave without Helene. At the very least, we need to bum around until she comes back.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. We'll stick around. move extremely legitimate cargo, possibly reconnoiter something we're definitely not going to steal, and hope Red Wizard comes back in time for all of this.
Is Dave, is there a way that I can perchance ask around and see how loyal everyone is to Lady Eliza? In a non-discreet, I mean, in a very discreet way. I mean, not discreet. In a very discreet way.
I mean, there's loyal, and then there's terrified you'll be killed at a moment's notice.
I'll take the terrified. I can work with that. Loyalty is harder to turn.
Give me just straight insight.
All right. And I want to say discreet is what I would like to be.
You're like, it's a nice viceroy you got here.
Okay, I got a 15. What's that?
Here's what I will say. The soldiers seem well fed and well equipped, which, you know, in many lands that in and of itself are achievements for soldiers.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Not a complicated bunch.
Give me a perception check. Aiden, sorry, Aiden. Perception check.
Yeah, no, like,
All right, 24.
You notice kind of high up on a cliff face nearby, you see Molt sitting in the shadows, cradling her crossbow. You also know you're supposed to see Molt sitting in the shadows, cradling her crossbow, but she's not drawn down on you. She's looking at you, and like when you look up at her, she sort of goes like,
all right, about that cargo. See you all in a bit.
When you mention that, Bras soon after Eliza leaves, and you're like, got to deal with some cargo. Like she sort of, you hear her voice whispering in your ear. You're familiar with a message spell, Aiden, that she just has to be able to see you and she can kind of talk to you. She's like, Captain, we're not really gonna drop all of it, are we? We barely made it out of Baldur's Gates with our skins.
Do you think there would be this many hidey holes at the docks alone if there weren't a robust economy underground here for us to offload this at a decent profit?
It's just, sir, me and the lads thought we might make it up. Maybe back near Neverwinter before the winter hit. You know, there's a festival taking place up near Tin Towns. We thought we might be able to poke our heads in.
So let's see if we sell some of the cargo off and let you go back with a little bit of coin when you go, you know?
Oh, Captain, it isn't right of you to take advantage of me love and loyalty for you, sir. It just ain't right.
Oh, I'm just too dastardly, ain't I? Hey, what did Lady Eliza mean about you poking your nose? Don't know what you did, proud of you for it.
Oh, she knew about that then. Guess I didn't do quite as good job as I thought, eh?
Oh, yeah. Do it better. I mean, don't do it.
Speaking of doing it better, you clock that bird brain up there watching you, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I clocked her. Bird at arms.
I mean, we could have one of the scorpions misfire in her direction if you like.
She wouldn't have let me see her if I weren't supposed to. I'm gonna go up there and see if there's something, or she can't be had. Don't you worry. Just, I think we can fetch a fair price on the rum, if nothing else.
I'll set the lads about it then.
All right. And keep a flagon of it for us, though. We're gonna need it on this one.
Only the best for you, Captain. In the interest of time, as you, Aiden, make your way up the rock face, and you see Molt sitting there, leaned back with the crossbow. This still sort of rested against her chest there. And she looks at you with her signature eye roll and goes,
Yeah. Imagine being up on a cliff. Hey! It makes coin.
And she just like holds up her coin purse and puts it back and like mimics with her crossbow, like just shooting people.
Yeah, I'd even pay for it too.
I like that she has like a semi-automatic crossbow.
Look, you spend your money where you spend your time.
Spend money to make money. She stands up and she just sort of like smooths out her multi feathers as they always are, and she looks at you and she just sort of like frowns and she says, and like motions over the island, like in the direction of where the hidden things were.
I couldn't possibly comment on things I'm not meant to see.
And she does just sort of like rub her beak for a second. And she pats the money again and looks directly at the wish and then looks back at you and makes a very dramatic yawn and like kicks over some vodka that was there on the rocks next to her and just like leans back and kind of holds on to the crossbow and like opens one eye and looks at you and then closes it.
Yep. I'm going to thicken the pouch for her and just pat that, and the eyes will stay nice and closed, and that will be lovely. And on my way out, I've spoken a little bit to a friend, Nasir. I think there's going to be business there, which means there would be no conflicts with a contractor like yourself.
It is your intent to tell Nasir what you're aware of? Or are you saying this? Are you saying this to
I'm
Molt?
mostly saying, yeah, to Molt.
Okay. Got it. Right.
If you're contracted to him right now, we're buds. So by the transitive property, you and I can do any business we need to do. Anything on the side is not going to get in the way.
As you walk away, and she sort of like reaches a booted foot out and kind of like slides the coin purse a little closer to her, and you hear her just faintly humming a little shanty of yo ho, it's the pirate life for me. And that is a good place for us to stop, because where it is, there's some other show that's starting right about now. So since we ran over a little bit, I will skip the outros. Y'all know who we are, but join us again next week, episode 8. We are nearing the end, and we'll see you there.